Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast. Dear racing drivers, if you get a concussion, please don't fly a plane. Also, don't Instagram and drive. I'm Nicole.
I'm Auston.
I'm Aries.
And this is Kyffin Simpson's Wing.
Brilliant. Is that our guest for the week? A very attentive guest for the week?
Yes.
Well, just to start things off, I guess we're going to take a detour and get to Italy because it was GT World Challenge Europe Sprint Cup this weekend at Misano. And I think it was for the third year in a row, Valentino Rossi was able to win at least one of the races. I'm not sure if he won the same race in the previous 2 years because I didn't do my research. But yeah, he won the first race, courtesy of Raffaele Marciello with a late pass. So that was, honestly, I'm a Ferrari fan, but that pass was very satisfying to watch. Well done, Raffaele.
I need BMW to stop winning everything in GT.
Yes. Let someone else have some fun.
I don't even dislike them.
WRT
I like Lello and I like Rossi, but I'm over BMW winning things in GT.
It feels like they've done that they've won everything in GT this year, like everything.
Not Le Mans.
Yeah, exactly.
not Le Mans, but like most things, yes. And I'm sick of it.
Did they win Bathurst?
Yes.
And they won. Kevin, turn your ears off. They won Nürburgring. They did not win Spa. They did not win Le Mans. They won some stuff at Macau. I don't remember.
The qualifying
They won
race.
like something.
I think it was a qualifying race. The main
I don't
race,
remember who won.
The main race was your bestie, Mauro Engel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't like him.
But they they still did well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they won in Macau. Like they won stuff. They've been winning a lot and they need to stop doing that.
Well, if we're gonna keep on the topic of BMW, one of their cars that did not win, but one of their cars accidentally yeeted a Lamborghini off into the barriers on the second race at Misano. It was a pretty big and scary moment. That's what the replays gave us, a big fireball. But thankfully, everybody involved was in one piece, so that's what matters. One thing I appreciate about I don't know if the other SRO series do that, but GT World Challenge Europe, the broadcast always avoids showing the immediate aftermath or the replays as soon as something big happens. Like they always sort of follow everything else that's been going on until, I guess, it's confirmed that everybody involved is okay. So kudos to them.
Yeah, it went red flag immediately and they still were just showing other stuff because as soon as it went red flag I was like, oh, well, let me pull the video back up because I had it slid off to the side of my screen, so I immediately pulled it back over expecting to see the replay, and it was still a good 3 minutes or something before they first showed the replay.
Yeah, I remember in our group chats we were like, why is it red flagged? Because they didn't really say why it was red flagged. There wasn't any hints as to what was happening until finally they cut to it, and we were like, oh, that is why.
Yeah. That was a really scary crash to watch.
Yeah, it's not the first time they do that, because I remember, I think it was Spa last year when we had a pretty big smash going into Eau Rouge. It took them a solid, I think, 5 to 10 minutes before they showed it.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
I started thinking something really bad had happened because of how long it took.
Yeah, the only situation where that's not applicable, I guess, is when they're actually showing the actual location when it happens live, like happened this year at Spa with Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
And that caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
But they can't help it.
Right. They can't help if it's
No.
on the feed, and at that point, they kind of need to stay with it because you cut away, and it's like, why'd you cut away?
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a fine line
Lauren's
you gotta
crash
balance.
at Spa this year was it wasn't as, I will say, like, dramatic as the one that happened at Misano this past weekend, but like, it was scarier, I'd say. Like, yes, fire is scary, but seeing a car basically crash full speed into a stopped car and be completely out of control afterwards. Like, luckily there was a runoff, or there would have been, like, a bad secondary impact.
Yeah.
I guess one thing that surprised me this weekend was the fact that they were able to repair those barriers and restart that race after that crash, because the barriers were non-existent when they showed them, like, after they showed the replay and everything, and when they were taking the car away, it's like the barriers just weren't there anymore. Which, like, kudos to the marshals and the track staff for getting the track put back together.
Yeah.
I guess the one last thing I can take away from this is exactly the when we saw the barriers, and you look at it and think, wow, someone survived this. When you think maybe 20
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
the outcome would have probably been very different. So, yeah, safety's come a long way. And we still have people
It has.
criticizing series for thinking about safety.
Yeah. You can
I'll leave it at
definitely
that.
say that again.
Yeah. I guess probably the biggest news in the sports car world right now is the what the heck's going on with Porsche situation.
Yeah.
They might have a customer 963 program next year, but like, I think we kind of all suspected that, right? Because of the whole Asian Le Mans series thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, when I was thinking of rich guys that would like to buy a 963, PJ Hyett was not on the top of my list. Because, like, I feel like that is really obvious that man would love to drive a 963.
I was gonna say, when we were like talking of our hypothetical people that would buy
we didn't
any
even
hypercar
come
in
up
general
with
for
PJ.
Asian Le Mans, the fact we didn't think of PJ, how did we miss that?
Yeah, I feel a bit silly when I look back at it. I was like, how?
We could sound really, enlightened and be like, well, because of Porsche's exclusivity deal with Penske and the fact that they don't share data, of course no one would want a customer 9. No, that's it. We just forgot.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be all acting smart. We forgot. Sorry, PJ. We forgot that you might want a 963. I would love to see them run a Michelin Endurance Cup 963 in IMSA. The problem is that, like, nobody's doing that with a bronze. Like,
Yeah.
he'd be full on, like, I think he'll do Daytona. If he owns a 963, that man is doing Daytona next year.
Definitely.
But remember how I said I want Lauren Heinrich in a 963?
Here we go.
This is how we get Lauren Heinrich in a 963. He doesn't even need to go to any other team. He doesn't need to go to PPM. We don't need to worry about him kicking Matt Campbell out of his car.
I wonder who that was targeted at.
That was my theory. They're going to send Matt back to the 5 in WEC, and then Lauren can go into the 6 in IMSA. Feels reasonable to me.
I'm just saying, it also now makes sense why Dane Cameron would go and do Spike if, AO hypothetically gets a hypercar.
I think that he was going to go to AO no matter what, given that article that we read today. Like,
yes.
I think he was going to AO. I think it makes sense PJ wanting him at AO, knowing, hey, maybe down the road I'll try and buy a 963, and this man has won, like, championships and races and Daytona and lots of stuff
Yeah.
in a 963. Like, I would love him to shake down my car. I think AO is the only realistic customer 963 option.
Yeah.
Other people were talking about potentially Manti. I don't know why they would do that. Like, Manti are very, like, 911 focused.
I was gonna say, they're
They're
very
a 911
9/11.
company. Right? If this was 5 years from now, I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, sure, maybe. Wright needs to expand to doing full season IMSA before they start buying 963s.
As much as if it happened, I would be the biggest fan. I think we all
I
would
would love
know
it.
that. Give Adam some time. He just bought the team.
He bought the
Yeah.
team like late last year.
Yeah.
Give him some time to settle in owning this team. And then people have been saying the Iron Dames, which, like, again, that's kind of like Manti. But like, the purpose of, and I think this comes from newer people who maybe don't understand, like, the stated purpose of the Iron Dames, which is, like, elevating women in motorsports up so that they can participate in mixed gender cars.
Mhm.
The goal is not to stick, you know, Sarah Bovey and Michelle Gadding in a 963 in IMSA. The point is to stick, you know, Sarah Bovey and Michelle Gadding into a PPM car with the normal quote unquote Porsche drivers. Like, that is the ultimate end goal. Same thing with their mechanics, same things with their engineers, same thing with their management. The point is to get those women into this male dominated space, not to have this, like, separate but equal racing series going alongside. Like, yeah, it would be really cool to have an Iron Dames 963. It doesn't fit in with their philosophy. And then, like, the big news that I think everyone's kind of freaking out about is, could Penske and Porsche be splitting up, like, either for or after 2027? Porsche has said nothing's changing before 2027. If they did, would it be, like, a full Penske split from Porsche? Would it be just WEC, just IMSA? Like, I think we've all seen rumors online, but they're just that, and they don't really, none of it really makes sense. I do know that it's been very clear that Chip Ganassi wants a fully funded deal, and Porsche clearly offers that. And then Manti, if they do want to get into the 963 game, are essentially the Works GT team for Porsche. So the association's already there. Can anybody else think of anything? Any other teams or any other?
No, I
Not
just
like-
think the reason we're hearing a lot about this is because of Ford eventually joining, and obviously Penske's connection in NASCAR with Ford.
Yeah. But Penske is a Chevy team in IndyCar, and
Exactly.
you don't see any rumors about them, magically becoming the Cadillac Works team.
It would be so
I
weird.
just think that people are taking too much of, well, Penske does this, Penske does that. Roger Penske does what is going to win Roger Penske races and championships.
Exactly.
Period. Like, that is all that man cares about, is winning races and winning championships. Like, he has been clear about that for decades. If staying with Porsche is going to do that, he'll stay with Porsche. If splitting from Porsche is going to do that, he'll split. I think that this is all just a bargaining chip to get the FIA and ACO to cave into some demands, because make no mistake, Porsche leaving WEC would be massive egg on that series face. Like, it would probably make other manufacturers consider, do we want to stay? Porsche has been very clear that they want a single platform hypercar. They don't want this LMH LMDH split. They want it to be the same across both series, and they want it to be a single platform. Obviously, this year they're really bringing on the pressure for a change to the BOP system. We have been railing against this driver ballast system, which that's just a driver lineup change away from not being an issue anymore.
It's still stupid.
But it's still stupid. And could it just be something as simple as they want a couple more Evo Jokers? They've already used a few, and they just want the ability to have some more. And there's going to be more with the new extension of the regulations, but
Yeah.
even more. They may want even more. So, it's as a Porsche fan, I honestly don't care who runs the Porsche hypercar team as long as the Porsche hypercar team exists. Like, do not get rid of the LMDH program, please.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to our
Well,
TED Talk.
We're on the same boat here. I'm on the more the merrier boat, and also on the Porsche is sports car boat. If they leave, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
what?
It looks really bad for WEC if Porsche leave. And do we think that... I don't think there's a chance that the Manti cars leave. Like, I don't think there is a chance that the GT part of Porsche leaves WEC. Same thing with IMSA. I don't think that the organization, like Porsche the brand, pull out. I think they just get rid of the LMDH program. Which, then you go back to, like, the one thing Porsche didn't want was, like, a new GTE Pro. Like, they did not want a pro class GT, like, when all these new regulations started.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure that LMGT3 was a Pro-Am class. If you get rid of your LMDH program, what do you do with your works drivers?
Well, I think that's why we have rumors right now of some of them seeking out other brands.
Yeah, I mean, it could make, if this is something that was rumored internally last year, it could make the departures make a little more sense.
Yeah.
You know, like, the 3 names they lost were pretty big. So, that could make a little more sense. I don't know. I don't know that it seems like something they would actually do to me because, like you said, Aries, Porsche is so synonymous with sports car racing.
Yeah.
I guess onward to IndyCar. I've been giving Fox a huge, like, benefit of the doubt on these growing pains with the broadcast. I can't do that anymore. How do you miss a restart on a street track? Like, they didn't even come in until the cars were already crashed.
Yep.
Like,
Shocked.
how is the TV direction that bad?
I will say, as a NASCAR fan, seeing all these struggles for the IndyCar broadcast, I'm like, this isn't new. Like, we have it with NASCAR a decent amount of time where, like, it's a commercial break. We come back from the commercial break and, like, something's happened. So,
Yeah.
it's just, like, a Fox issue. It's not an IndyCar specific issue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it is a little of both because NBC had these issues too. And I think the whole thought and the hope was that Fox was going to be better than NBC, and it just hasn't been.
Yeah, I cannot really comment because, I don't use Fox. My broadcaster does not believe in advertising during races, so I didn't miss a second. So yay them. But yeah, seeing people's reactions, like, both on the timeline and in our 367 shared group chats, that was a bit that was a bit surprising. I thought, excuse me? How?
It's at the point to where I'm not even surprised anymore. And that's unfortunate, but it's true. Well, in case we all didn't know, more nationalism this week because IndyCar was in Toronto, Canada. The flag is still up in the background. So we're gonna go over who was very Canadian this weekend. Surprise! It was not the Canadian on the grid. Dev, you're not even in my notes. And that's saying something.
There's a lot.
I'm just saying, dude, you could have been more Canadian. We had a Canadian car this weekend because Marcus Armstrong did the Sirius XM Canada car, so it was very red and white, which I know Dana had problems with because another red car. I'm sorry, y'all. What did we expect from it? Kyffin Simpson had a Canada helmet, which I did not realize until after the race.
Yes,
it was
because
a good
Canada
helmet, though.
is Journey Rewards, his title sponsor, his main sponsor for most races. It's their home race.
Yeah.
That's a Canadian company.
Yes, but I will say, great helmet. It was very nice.
Still not sure how it's a Canadian company when his family owns it, but
yeah,
okay.
I was very confused by that, but I wasn't gonna question it.
Yeah.
Dance according to the music.
You know?
We don't question the process.
And then, Stingray Rob, you have risen up my rankings purely for your choice of an outfit before the race because he wore an Auston Matthews jersey. So, in honor of Stingray Rob wearing his Leafs jersey, I wore my Leafs jersey for this episode. I will say also towards the bottom of the most Canadian driver for this race is Colton Herta because they asked everyone like their favorite thing about Canada. And he said Nando's. Nando's is not Canadian, Colton. I know you said it wasn't, but then why would you still say it? Nothing about it's Canadian. I'm just saying.
Confused. I'm so confused by Colton.
I was like, what? You could have picked so many other things. But yeah, so I also felt very targeted this race because it felt, at least for me being on Twitter, impossible to avoid the Maple Leafs IndyCar content. A lot of it was Maple Leafs Prema content, which is one of my teams for IndyCar, so very targeted. But then also McLaren win in Toronto at a Honda race, which meant a Chevy won as well, which very targeted. But then also the Letus agenda was alive and well because Letus was there even though he didn't drive, and was in team kit again, which was nice to see. So I had a lot of things that just were very targeted towards me this weekend.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then just to touch on this, because we talked about it last episode, and it was nice to kind of get information about this as a closure. JHR Racing was able to make the race. There are items from the 77 hauler. There was a tire fire, so that's what the fire was. That smoke damaged the items that were in the car, including the car, the backup car, the radios, the damper machine, and like a bunch of other stuff, where the entire team got together to clean everything and get it ready to go to Canada on like a backup caller. And in their like video recapping it, they related the whole journey and process back to race strategy and how important recovery is in the race. And that was nice to see and hear that they were able to recover almost everything from the hauler.
No, that's really good to hear. Like that it didn't damage the car itself. Because obviously we've seen what happens. Like those cars get incredibly quickly damaged if fire's involved. And then if you watch the race, you know why I've been sitting with a piece of car the whole show so far. If you're not watching on YouTube, watch on YouTube, because I've been sitting with a piece of an IndyCar on my lap up until this point of the episode. Kyffin Simpson got his first podium in IndyCar, and I've just got to say, what did I say about Ganassi improving overall as a team with fewer cars? There is zero question that Chip Ganassi Racing is the dominant team in the series right now. They are the only 3-car team to have all 3 drivers on the podium. That's massive. I mean, considering I think everyone expected that by this point in the season, with the number of ovals and stuff, that Penske would be there. They haven't been. I think with the number of street courses at this point, people would have expected probably that Andretti would be there. I do not think anybody thought that Ganassi was going to be the team to get to all 3 drivers on the podium first. I'm just being honest. I don't think anybody expected Kyffin to get a podium this season. Dana definitely didn't expect it, because she's now having to dye some of her hair pink, because she totally told Chaos Crew that she was going to do that if Kyffin got a podium. Which was like my 3rd thought after all of my oh my gods. So, okay, longtime listeners will remember the story about Petit and how I said oh my god many times.
Not again.
So many times.
You, in fact, can see a written version of that by going back to Sunday on my Twitter.
Exactly.
And seeing, like, in real time from when I saw the first oh my god was Nolan's crash. And from there, it was like, oh my god, there's only 2 laps left. Like, I was just saying oh my god, but, like, my thought process was, there's only 2 laps left. They can't get these cars out of the way. Like, oh my god, this is really gonna... And then I started getting into, like, talking about Kyffin. But everybody knew what the oh my gods were about.
Yes.
But, yes,
I will say still not as many as at Petit.
I mean, yes, but I was verbalizing them.
I'm just
like,
saying.
I can say oh my god a lot more times than I can type oh my god.
No, don't worry about it, though. The fact that some of them were in caps lock conveyed the intensity
they were.
really
and
well.
There were, like, periods. They were all typed differently. Kevin, again, if you're listening, sorry that I was celebrating you losing out on a race. But we're going to go back to Kyffin, because we're talking about him right now and not Petit. Kyffin is the first Caribbean driver to get a podium in IndyCar. That's really cool of him. And yeah, I said as soon as they cut down to 3 cars, like, were forced to cut down to 3 cars, that I thought it was going to be a big turning point for Kyffin. I've said that on the show before. Because he was going to be more of a focus rather than, like, Scott and Alex are always going to be a focus. They're multiple time IndyCar champions. They're always, but then when you're dividing the other focus among 3 drivers, that's, like, impossible. When you're not dividing the other focus and it's just Scott and Alex and their guys, and then Kyffin actually has his people. Like, obviously, I think he was gonna perform better. I was blown away by the podium, honestly. Like, that was not something that I expected this year. But he's been on such a steady, like, upward trend. Like, he had the issue with the car at the Indy GP, but he qualified really well and was probably going to do pretty good in that race. Like, obviously, Detroit, he had a top 5. He's had a bunch of top 10s, like, recently. So, I do think that this isn't like a little shock, oh, it happened and it's never going to happen again. No, like, that felt like a classic Chip Ganassi Racing win. It's just, normally it's Scott Dixon doing that, and instead of Scott Dixon coming from nowhere and winning the race, it was Kyffin coming from nowhere and getting on the podium. Like, classic Ganassi stuff, which I think shows that Kyffin is in the right place.
Oh, indeed.
Even
Indeed
his
he is.
interviews, he was like talking about like how he came from nowhere and everything, and how even he was surprised. So, which I felt like I heard Kyffin talk more than I've ever heard that boy talk this race
He's
weekend.
gotten a lot more, like, talkative this year. Like, even when I interviewed him, like, he was definitely being personable. I mean, I asked really dry questions intentionally because he had, like, just gotten out of the car. But yes, I also do those ambush pit lane interviews. But yes, he was a lot more talkative than I expected him to be at Road America, and he's definitely seemed a lot more talkative. So I think that just feeling positive about racing, as opposed to like last year where I feel like all he heard was like, you don't deserve to be here. I think he has shown he deserves to be here. And that's probably making him feel more confident too.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was gonna say the yappers who were last year were like, "Oh, pay driver, he's here because of his money." They've been pretty silent. They have been silent for a while, and honestly, it feels extremely satisfying. I was cartwheeling off my couch on Sunday afternoon, so I was like,
Oh
yes,
man,
yes,
I would have paid to
vindication.
see that. I will say my favorite part of Kiffin's podium is kind of like the afterwards content we got today. If we don't know and remember Nico was the pit crew member that he like kind of ran over his foot, who is on Renus's car. And they took photos again together after this race, which I was like, new bestie. I'm loving this friendship right here, this content. But then also they like showed Scott going up to Kyffin afterwards and being like, making sure that somebody got a photo of them. He's like, can somebody please get a photo of the two of us?
Yeah,
and I was like,
he walked up
yes.
to Melanie and was like, get a picture with
Yeah.
me and Kyffin. Because Melanie, if you don't know who Melanie is, she's the social media admin for Ganassi. She was the girl in that video that was standing off to the left. Like,
Yeah.
you see him go up and be like, take a picture of me and Kyffin. Such dad vibes.
I was about to say, it was giving like, this is my son and I am his proud father.
Yes.
Energy. And I was here
But
for it.
can we talk about how proud Kyffin's actual parents looked? Like, I cannot even imagine, because I know how excited they were in Detroit when he just came in 5th. Like, they were over the moon. So I can't even imagine how excited they were at this podium. So, and I guess, like, you brought Renus up. We need to talk about Renus VK.
Yes.
Like, nearly getting bumped from the Indy 500 and then getting a podium later this year. Like, it's very impressive, and I think shows how much he's outdriving that car.
Go robot car.
Various rumors are right, you're gonna get, potentially, people will get upset with me for saying this, but if various rumors are right and there are multiple vacancies at Team Penske next year, Roger needs to be on the phone with Renus VK. Like, I think we all know that David Malukas has one of those seats.
Oh yeah.
And I think the assumption is Santino Ferrucci has the other one, but I don't know. Could Renus have the other one? I think it's something worth considering if you're Roger.
I'd prefer it.
Likewise.
Just being honest here.
I'd venture to say most of our listeners probably would prefer it. But I don't think it's a bad like career decision either. Like I don't think that Team Penske would lose anything. Now, obviously the two people that are being rumored to leave are both like IndyCar Series champions, Indy 500 winners. So yes, you do lose something in losing that sort of experience on your team, but I think you have very solid young talent to build upon because well, Will only was really with Penske, but Joseph wasn't a Indy 500 winner and an IndyCar Series champion when he signed with Penske. So, there's no reason to say that both of these guys also couldn't end up there.
Yeah. Like, of the
now we're
people
just
to
talking
bring
about
in,
IndyCar Penske in a non-negative way on the podcast.
who are we? But of the people to like bring into your team, like you definitely have much worse options. Like
Yes.
those are two good guys to have as options for your team.
Yeah, these are pretty they're pretty solid. They've shown that. And yeah, on the not talking about Penske in a negative manner, we've been cloned. Help. And on another note, we were on about, yes, this feels like a classic Ganassi race with Kyffin coming out of nowhere, but did this also feel like a classic Dale Coyne throws a bit of a crazy strategy and comes away with a good result one?
Yeah.
Like, obviously not
Yeah.
discrediting Renas for his ability, but that's strategy, man. That's what got them there, and they were able to get that good result, and that was great.
Yeah, the strategy aspect of I feel like the strategy aspect at Toronto is always awesome.
Yes.
And if it were me, if I were Mark Miles, I would switch Detroit and Toronto, honestly. I think that when you're trying to bring in a new crowd, right? And you want to, for whatever reason, back up the Indy 500 to a street race. I think that this provides better excitement overall than Detroit. Like, I loved going to Detroit. That was, like, potentially my top race of this year. Like, going to wise. I think a lot of that is because it was a double race. So
Don't let Kevin hear that.
Okay, well, too bad. Like, yeah, really awesome meeting Kevin at Daytona, but overall, I think that Detroit was more fun because I just feel like there was always so much going on because of first because I had a pit pass. I won a pit pass, so that helped. But the double paddock was awesome. Like, you'd be walking through and you'd be like, oh, let me get a selfie with David Malukas. And then you'd keep walking and you'd be like, well, there's Nick Tandy. Let me get a selfie with him. Like, that was something that is just really cool. And did make it, I think, for me, the top race so far. Now, obviously, I've still got WEC, F1, and IMSA for the rest of the year. More cool things could happen. Detroit could get overthrown. But right now, yes, I think Detroit is winning. It could. I'm going to put the wing away because it's kind of hurting.
No, but for me, Toronto is always an exciting race.
Yes.
Always Toronto is in the top of like my IndyCar races for the year. Yeah. Put it after the 500. Do it.
Yeah, I think for me, it was right up there with Gateway in terms of excitement, and even more so in terms of satisfaction. But that's just a personal aspect.
Oh, if you had told me like pick a podium, like top 3 for Toronto, I would not have picked this podium.
No, I don't think anybody did.
So, like, all three of them were surprises to me because this isn't a track that McLaren is typically good at. So, even Pato winning was surprising. But some kind of sad news, Chicago is gone for 2026 for NASCAR. Hopefully we'll be back for 2027. But it
made it sound like it's temporary.
Yeah, made it sound like it's temporary. But it will not be with us for next year, which is very sad because I really liked Chicago. I feel like a lot of the fan base I've talked to also has really liked Chicago. So losing it is very sad to see, even though it sounds like it's just going to be temporary.
Yeah, Chicago always felt like it was bringing something different to the NASCAR schedule, so it's a bit sad to look at the 2026 calendar and be like, oh, it's not here. Like I said, we hope it's something temporary, but yeah, and I think it's all but confirmed that we're going to see NASCAR at San Diego next year, so I guess we need to wait and see how that one goes.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm excited to see how that pans out, but it is sad to kind of see that it's basically going to be a swap, at least for the first year. But more exciting NASCAR news. Connor Zilisch has made history. He's the youngest to 5 wins in Xfinity, the youngest to win back-to-back. Is the secret to this win that instead of riding the Dente at Chili's, you need to ride the strawberry lemonade and apparently get drunk off strawberry lemonade, because that's the vibes that he was giving this weekend from all of his interviews.
And is cookie stuff like a theme in NASCAR now? Because, like, Jesse Love Jr. and Connor Zilisch were getting cookies this weekend, and then today it was announced that the Cookie Monster from Sesame Street is the Grand Marshal at the Brickyard. So, like, I guess cookies are a theme in NASCAR now. That's cool. I like cookies, so I'm cool with that.
Are we going to get Cookie Skillet from Chili's and give it to the Cookie Monster when he's the Grand Marshal? Because that will be the overlap.
I think so.
I think we need that.
What's with Indianapolis and food this year? Because we had the Weenie 500 in May, and now we're talking about cookies for NASCAR.
Good question.
That is a good question.
What strange food thing will we get for Battle on the Bricks?
Yeah.
Come on,
Okay, we need to go to Indianapolis, and we need to ride the Dente there.
Yeah.
If we fail to ride the Dente at Coda, because that's a couple weeks later.
Or Jamba Juice.
Or Jamba Juice. Yes.
Yeah.
These are our food things.
That's all I've got for possible food options for you.
Me too.
And kind of big news in FE that I don't think really anyone kind of expected once we heard about it, but Taylor Barnard is very committed to Formula E in the sense that he apparently turned down offers for a WEC seat and an IndyCar seat with McLaren to stay in FE.
I don't know that I believe that Zach made earnest offers to Taylor on either of these seats to begin with, because we know how Zach is with contracts.
Exactly.
And it's very odd that, like, within days of this news coming out, Zach and Tony were like, Nolan is confirmed for next year and beyond with the IndyCar team. Like, so.
Also, it's McLaren, and I'm just gonna say this for everyone. This team is notorious for never honoring contracts and changing things. So any rumors, you can't really believe them.
And for, like, dangling things out in front of people. That's probably how Palou is going to win his whole lawsuit thing, is it's going to come out that Zach said, you will get a Formula One seat. And when that became clear it wasn't going to happen, Palou said, I'm not going to McLaren. I don't want to leave this IndyCar team for that IndyCar team. I wanted to leave IndyCar for Formula One. So I don't believe Zach at all about any of this.
No. It was one of those rumors when I saw it, I was like, this is just people trying to create news, but also it wouldn't surprise me if, like, at some point maybe this was a thing, but
oh no, I think Zach made the offers. I don't think he made them in earnest.
No, I think this is one of those things that they do all the time, where they just kind of dangle things to try to keep
exactly people. And then sort of kind of about F1, but actually more just a story about my dad. He called me up the other day and was like, so I was on Facebook and I saw this post and it was about who is the greatest driver. And I immediately, just because of the timing, I'm like, I bet this was a post about the ESPYs. And he specifically mentioned Verstappen, Palou, and Logano. And I'm like, that's gotta be about the ESPYs, or at least inspired by the ESPYs. But the people in the comments were just discussing greatest driver, not like best driver of 2024, which is what the ESPYs was. So my dad commented that you need to consider Scott Dixon if you're talking about greatest driver ever, just because of his number of IndyCar titles, the 20-plus year streak with a win every year, and then his numerous sports car wins. And then he said, and you also have to consider Nick Tandy because of the Tandy Slam, Grand Slam, Mr. 24 Hours, whatever you want to call it. And like, my dad has always paid attention to all forms of racing, but I did not expect my dad to be just name-dropping Scott Dixon and Nick Tandy in a Facebook argument. So I thought that was pretty cool, because my dad is primarily a Formula One fan. And I think, like, given just the choice of Max, Alex, and Joey, he's going Max, because he does, like, I'm not going to say he's one of those F1 is better than everything. They're easily the 20 best drivers in the world. But, you know, it's cool to see someone that watches Formula One respect the abilities of people from other disciplines. Because I think a lot of Formula One fans don't do that.
Nope.
Yeah. I will say his choices are great.
Yes,
I approve.
Fantastic.
And
Where's my
agree with
Tandy poster? My Tandy poster came in. I don't know if I've shown this. Going to attempt to get it signed by all the drivers of all the cars. Which, well, so the thing is that all the drivers of all the cars are going to, like, be either at Coda or Petit or Coda for Formula One, except for Patrick Pile, so yeah. I'm just gonna have to go to Europe and find him next year. Or perhaps he could do Daytona next year. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Please do Daytona next year so I can get you to sign my stupid Tandy poster, so I don't need to go to Europe.
Tandy, what I'm getting is Tandy poster autograph speed run.
Yes. So yeah, now the issue is I may not be able to find Nico Hülkenberg in Austin for Formula One. That's going to be the hard one this year, but like, I've got multiple races to find Earl Bamber. I've got multiple races to find Lawrence Vantor. Felipe Nasser should be easy enough to find at Petit. Nick should be easy enough to find at Petit. The issues are going to be, I'm going to have to find Fred McVicky at Coda for WEC, and I'm gonna have to find Ricard Leitz at Coda for WEC. So, like, I'm going to have to go through those autograph session lines to get this thing signed, or just find them in the paddock.
Well, it's a good thing you're going with an Alpine fan.
Yes, it is. So, PPM, if you see me, like, hanging out around Alpine, know that it's because of one of your guys. Not because I'm an Alpine fan. I'm trying to do this really cool Nick Tandy poster autograph speed run, as Aries
it's
called it.
definitely because I've converted you.
Definitely. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. On Twitter, Nicole is at Nicole on Racing, Auston is at Hendrik Claren, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay orange.